Turns out child abusers are getting even more creative. They're finding new ways to communicate and attract their next victim.
News 5's Lauren Wilson spoke exclusively with a man who's tracking down those criminals. He told her parents need to be hyper vigilant, especially on this day.
Guys, this is very underground. In fact, most human trafficking agencies I checked in with didn't even know about it. It's called Alice Day, and it's today. Pedophiles and sexual predators use today to go online and share stories and tips with each other. But that's not all. They use a very innocent-looking symbol to help identify fellow offenders.
Laughing about sexual assault isn't funny.
Flipping through dozens of images of the cartoon bear named Pedo Bear. It looks sweet and innocent. In fact, some people think it's a joke or maybe something made up online. But Dr. Jesse Bach tells me the bear and what it stands for are very real. And he's disturbed by the memes now circulating on social media about it.
Which is awful to think about because they're joking about child sexual abuse.
A topic he takes very seriously. After a trip abroad years ago, he saw the horrors of the child abuse and sex trade industry firsthand.
I freaked out a little bit after that.
He knew he had to do something about it, so he created the nonprofit, the Imagine Foundation.
I returned, and everything that I learned in Cuba and Kathmandu, I began seeing here.
Dr. Bach and his team conduct research and help victims track and find their abusers. He tells me while Alice Day is alarming, pedophiles are on the prowl every day.
We really don't have a great handle on what's going on. The technology that facilitates the crime is outpacing the ability to understand the crime.
He and other experts tell me there are websites on what they call the dark net, a web of password-protected pages not accessible to the general public. The images posted there, too graphic to show on TV.
Oh, it's incredibly disgusting.
And our area in particular is a hotspot for transactions conducted on those pages.
We have a very large discrepancy in wealth. We have a wealth gap. Very affluent people abutting people in poverty. So everything is ripe for exploitation.
I'm told this type of crime is found more commonly in suburban neighborhoods as it takes money and access to pull it off. Dr. Bach advises parents to be on the lookout for the Pedo Bear symbol and to teach your kids about what giving consent really means. Lauren Wilson, News 5.
Now a story you'll only see right here on News 5. A major breakthrough for people suffering from sickle cell anemia.
Just days ago, for the first time in 2 decades, the FDA approved a new treatment. News 5's Lauren Wilson shows us why doctors still feel there's a long way to go.
Doctors have known about this disease since 1910, but Andari is just the second medication to treat sickle cell anemia ever approved by the FDA. Most patients undergo frequent blood transfusions, and for people like Mackenzie Nance, they're taking the one available antibiotic offered daily and trying to manage the pain as best as possible.
I feel like a normal 13-year-old girl. You know, I love to sing, I love to dance.
Normal, but challenging.
When Mackenzie was born, we was made aware that Mackenzie had sickle cell disease. It was devastating at the time because we were not educated about the side effects.
Or symptoms like chronic pain, constant dehydration, tiredness, and sometimes even pneumonia.
Sometimes, like, if it happens, like, while I'm playing or, like, running, I can feel it coming on, and I just need a break. I have to sit down.
Any tummy pain? Here and there. Because your red blood cells go everywhere in the body, the effects of sickle cell disease are everywhere in the body. The most common or the most frequent complication that we see is pain.
That's what the one antibiotic, hydroxyurea, is used for.
The best part is taking my medicine because, you know, the medicine helps with me every day, every night.
And soon the new Andari will also help patients. But is that enough?
We're behind. You know, we really are behind where we should be.
For example, a 2013 American Society for Hematology study found cystic fibrosis, another genetic disease that affects only 30,000 people here in the U.S., mainly Caucasian, has received 5 medications since 2010. But sickle cell disease, which affects 100,000 people, mostly African Americans, now only has 2.
There's been a huge disparity where sickle cell disease has really not received the funding, support, the advocacy that it really deserves.
The Nance family realizes they can't just wait on the medical community.
So I'm passionate about getting the word out, making people aware of just knowing your status, whether you have a trait or not.
The family started organizing quarterly blood drives at their church, and it's now the largest for African Americans in our area. Most sickle cell patients need blood transfusions once every couple of months. Lauren Wilson, News 5.
I was always interested in biology.
Oh, there's a thing here.
Christopher Escaya on a quest nearly 1,700 miles away from his home in the Dominican Republic.
We grew up in a generation that was basically being bombarded by eco-friendly messages.
And that's what brought him here, to Hiram College for the week.
The water quality in DR, it depends where you are. Usually in the most populated places, it's deplorable. We're not able to drink water from the streams.
So Christopher is joining students from Pakistan and the U.S. to go creek hiking in the nearby streams on one mission.
Each group is getting a separate snapshot of the quality of the stream.
So they're analyzing things like the texture of the dirt down at the bottom, a variety of rocks, and much more.
To learn what good, healthy water should look, feel, and eventually taste like.
Totally different.
The quest continues when students like Christopher return home, using these techniques to teach high school students there what to look for and how to find solutions.
We're trying to figure out the way to be eco-friendly with the environment, but instead of doing directly with the government, we're starting with the younger generation.
But Ome Habiba from Pakistan says she's not just chasing waterfalls, it's much deeper than that.
For me, this program is more about cultural exchange, grooming my own self, and realizing what it's meant to be in a community and doing a teamwork.
Lauren Wilson, News 5.
All right, so we've heard James, as the manhunt went on, the family at the center of this shooting we're talking about was waiting on word on how all of this would end. News 5's Lauren Wilson is outside of one of Godwin Sr.'s daughter's home. Lauren, go ahead and tell us how the family is processing all of this tonight.
You know, as you can imagine, it's been an emotional roller coaster the past couple days for the family, and today is no exception. I spoke with Godwin's granddaughter, who told me while there's peace, there's also a void. And that void is justice.
The way it happened, I don't agree with. I wish they would have caught him before he did that.
Cody Baines told me that this afternoon, just hours after hearing the news that Facebook shooter Steve Stevens was found dead after taking his own life.
Just an easy way out, you know, versus suffering the way my grandfather did. It's just like he get the good way out, but, you know, he just was sitting there suffering, you know.
She told me it hasn't hit her fully yet, as she's been trying to be strong for her mom and the rest of the family. But it's yet another blow.
You know, the fact that I had to see it, so it would have been different if, you know, I heard about it and there was no video posted, but the fact that I had to watch it was just like, it's mind-blowing.
The past 2 days now, she tells me they've been a nervous wreck, wondering where he could be.
Just scared, just afraid, you know, is he gonna come here?
But even if he were brought into custody, she told me she and her family would only have one thing to tell him.
We forgive you.
But now it's time to move on. She told me the best way they're trying to do that is relying on family and friends to lift them up where they're in need.
That's what our grandfather taught us to do, was to forgive, no matter what.
Now, I'm told right now Robert Godwin's children, including Cody's mom, Tanya, are at the funeral home right now making arrangements. There's no specifics right now on what those arrangements will be and when they will happen. In Macedonia, Lauren Wilson, News 5.
Forgive no matter what. Well, we'll have continuing coverage of the latest developments coming up in just a few minutes for you.